as Downer's sector lead local government and airports, provides Ross with an opportunity to work closely with customers in implementing sustainable pavement preservation solutions. I read that Ross worked with SAMI. SAMI, if I'm not wrong, is
Correct.
an acronym for Stress Absorbing Membrane Interlayer.
You've got it right.
That's a company I've known for quite some time.
I started from the
Good.
beginning. Me and Azim are good friends.
Absolutely. And with his appreciation of the issues and challenges facing road and airport owners coupled, Ross's next challenge is to assist with the establishment of a pavement preservation and recycling alliance in Australia.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Well done.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And since I'm from Australia, I've got to say, g'day mate, how you all going? Come on, we're all going good. Okay. I was fortunate to attend the first conference in Paris in 2015. And I took away quite a lot, and it sort of spurred me and the business I work for to change our attitude a little bit with our clients, and we offer solutions, not just products. And today this afternoon, I'll share you some of our experiences with one of our customers, Campbelltown City Council. I've also got to say that if you're expecting a presentation on road management models, you're in the wrong session. I would not be talking about that. I used to do that for Downer, but this is a different journey about road asset management modelling. So you will learn something about actual doing things, not just managing road contracts. So as the chairman stated, I've been working with Downer for 15 years, and part of it is we've seen a progression in modelling from maintenance modelling, but our local authorities, there are 560, actually most of them do the work themselves. The only people that do outsourcing is mostly our state road authorities. So this is why it's not about road management modelling. Just lastly about Downer, I'm part of 56,000 people who work for Downer, a very diverse infrastructure services company. So we do many, many things, and I don't have time to talk to you about that, but certainly have a look at our website. So what I'm hoping to do this for a little while is to provide you with details of a journey that we embarked on with Campbelltown City Council. The genesis of that journey began back in 2013 when we introduced the benefits of microservicing to a group of Sydney metropolitan councils. So our partnership with Campbelltown City Council continues to grow and has endured through strict commercial procurement processes. So this is, everything in Australia is open tendered. I should say, I don't intend to read what's on the slides. You can all read, and I don't need to read what's out there. So I will try to embellish what is up there. So, and I prefer that questions at the end, not during. Is that okay? Thank you. As you can see, a big country, just like Finland. We have extremes of weather from the north to the south to the east to the west. 25 million people in 7.7 million square kilometres. And that sealed road network is mainly our highways. I'm not including our local roads. Just a bit further, just a bit of information about Australia. The population is centred on the east coast. The major capital cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide. And our predominant road surfacing is asphalt or hot mix, whatever you prefer. In the regional and the rural areas, which is most of the country, chip seals or spray seals is a predominant surface treatment. And that's obviously from a cost perspective. We can cover a lot of ground with a chip seal compared to asphalt. The highway between Melbourne to Brisbane, it's nearly a dual highway. Well, that's the only dual highway we have from connecting major capital cities. It's a combination of rigid and also and flexible. But pretty much in the country, it's chip seals. That's our predominant servicing. And the predominant application is hot chip seals, not not emulsions are only very sparingly used. Excuse me while I get my notes. So, we should all know that spray seals are a good maintenance option when you have good pavement shape. However, when the large proportion of, if you've got a large proportion of your network with issues like what we do have with our heavy vehicles is rutting, spray seals, chip seals only follow the surface. So the biggest problem we have in the regional areas is rutting. And micro-surfacing has started to grow because of it's a fairly cost-effective treatment to fix up with rutting in longitude pavements, especially along the east coast and up in the north. We have a lot of rainfall, and that's obviously an issue with safety. So I'll continue, and then we'll get into the real. So in 2013, we introduced fibres into our micro-surfacing for a little bit more flexibility, and we thought that was a good time to reintroduce micro-surfacing to our local government clients. And as I said, there's probably about 560 local authorities in Australia and probably 100 or so in urban areas. They were telling us that they were looking for different options to manage and maintain their road network, and they're wanting something more cost-effective to cover up over their spray seals rather than hot mix, which is rather expensive. I thought I'd just throw in a couple of slides, or one slide showing you some of the key sites. If you haven't been to Australia, you should make it your point to come. I spent 32 hours getting here on Saturday, so you should repay that and come across and have a look what a beautiful country we have. So, Campbelltown, New South Wales. Campbelltown City Council, 718 kilometres of road infrastructure, with a replacement cost of about 400 million. This council has had rapid growth from 25,000 people in 1996 to over 150,000. And that requires a significant investment in infrastructure, including the road network, to service the growing residential, commercial and industrial estates. Campbelltown, you can see where it is on the map. It's 55 kilometres south of Sydney. It's referred to in Australia as an urban fringe council. So it's not an inner city council. It's where housing developments go so we can house our people. It's got a lot of housing estates. So there's every capital city has got 10, 12 major councils that surround it as growth councils. So this council had recognised they need to do something else to manage their ageing road network. And the challenge was there for the councils, and we took the challenge up with them to help them understand a better outcome. So, due to the increased financial pressures to maintain local community expectations of smooth roads, Campbelltown City Council has developed and adopted a sustainable pavement management strategy that optimises the budget capacity and also meets local communities' expectations. So typical of urban fringe councils, there is, like Campbelltown, there's a proportion of the road network that is classified as rural. And a lot of these councils are facing the pressures to resurface existing spray seals and provide smoother surfaces, which their residents demand, because we always hear, my son can't ride his skateboard on the road because it's too rough. And we say to him, he shouldn't be on the road. But anyway, that being it. So the following slides will provide an overview of the sustainable pavement management strategy and demonstrate how Campbelltown City Council has increased the number of roads it treats annually, whilst improving the overall condition and satisfying their community's high expectations, all within existing financial budget constraints. So here we go. You've got to start off knowing where you're at. And Campbelltown City Council's road management plan, they have developed levels of service for all the classes of their roads to provide for them a basis for the life cycle management strategies. So the level of service support the council's strategic goals and are based on customer expectations and statutory requirements. So the council-endorsed level of services provide the road asset management team with guidance and scope of current and future services. Now, you can't do much on a road without data. You've got to know where you are, and it helps to sort of work out when you've got there, have I done anything that's actually improved it? So they capture and they do undertake data, condition assessment annually, 20% of the network. So they actually store, manage and analyse in a proprietary PMS. So I'm sure you all understand the benefit of good data. They have adopted the Pavement Condition Index ranking to assign a PCI score which assists with funding applications and is used to report overall road network condition to the community. So 0 to 10 is their ranking, so you can see that for yourself. But it's not a bad way as a reporting tool to have a PCI. They use an algorithm to come up with it. Don't ask me how they do it, but it's quite robust. In 2002-2003, Council decided to upgrade and maintain its whole network on different PCI levels based on the classes. And you can see obviously a higher class of road like a collector road has got a higher PCI than a cul-de-sac or a residential road. They agreed on a PCI target of 6.75. This all comes together in the end when you look at how it all happens. But the road asset management process is fairly important, and to achieve the PCI target levels that they have set, a comprehensive pavement management strategy was developed. The objective of the strategy was to maintain and improve its pavement infrastructure assets for the long term. The strategy flows through the PMS and considers budget constraints, current road network condition, deterioration curves and treatment options. And the flowchart that you can see shows how the PMS utilises data in generating effective and prioritised work programs. So it's a backside, foresight, all together. But so this is what I think the organisers saw about models. It's actually the modelling, not the models. So sorry if you've come to the wrong session. This is the typical pavement life cycle curve which you're all familiar with. Yes, the road starts off in good condition. Over time, it ends up, and that time is what's critical. In Australia, when we're talking about, and I suppose most parts of the world, low traffic, low volume roads suffer from the environmental aspects. As life goes on, nothing's done, you get through the point where the road's stuffed. You're either in a preservation phase or a rehabilitation phase. So it's important to know from your data where you sit on your road network. It's pretty important for each segment to have a good understanding. So we get into the nitty-gritty, strategy development. A variety of the failure modes were assessed to identify each individual road segment's PCI rating, which is used to identify most appropriate treatment options to extend segment life and improve its PCI. Treatment options are assessed on a cost-benefit analysis. And the PMS which they've got assists with predictive modelling, including maintenance application choices, intervention triggers, and life cycle costing. And here's a list of some of the treatments that are currently used by Campbelltown City Council. I've got to say, for one of our clients, they use every treatment option available to them. And the key thing that they have done since we started working with them is that they've integrated pavement management treatment options in the pavement management system to achieve what they believe is long-term financial sustainability in its road network management. So here we have if you can see it, it's a bit hazy, but there's a list of the treatments from rejuvenation through to microsurfacing and different variations of microsurfacing, chip sealing. They still do some hot in place, asphalt overlay. So you've got the range from the early intervention right through to treatments that are used throughout the life of a road. And I'm just going to give you some, because I know you'd like to see pictures, we all like to see pictures, just some photos of some of the road maintenance treatments that are used. Now, rejuvenation and I suppose a polymer modified emastic, these are spray applied treatments. They're a thin surfacing treatment, early intervention treatments which are aimed to halt oxidation. Australia has adopted these treatments sparsely, some better than others, but commonly are used. As I said before, chip seals is the common treatment in Australia, not so much in the urban areas, but certainly in the regional areas. However, urban fringe councils, councils are struggling for funds, still use chip seals because they're the most cost effective when you look at, and from a life perspective, rejuvenation, the polymer modified emastics, you should get a 5 to 7 year life extension. Chip seals will give you up to 10 years. Then we've spoken about microsurfacing. Microsurfacing, the life 10 to 12 years before you need to retreat. The key thing that I stress that you need to know what is the treatment that you should be doing after you put whatever you have down. So it's about working up the life cycle of the treatment as well. Hot in place asphalt recycling. This is one council in Australia that still uses this. It's not used a lot, but they're seeing it from a sustainability point of view. If you've got good shape and it's just the asphalt that's got some age, environmental cracking, it's much more effective than doing hot mix, which is the default treatment for everybody. The most, probably, unit cost in Australia, the most high. And then we talk about mill and fill or inlay type work where you're taking off. Luckily in Australia we utilise all the RAP. It goes back in anywhere up to 40, 50, 80% depending on what plants you have, but RAP is an important component of roadworks to keep the asphalt, to keep the cost down. And certainly in situ stabilisation, foam, bitumens, combination of binders, cementitious. So the whole gamut of treatments is used by Campbelltown City Council. So what I'm going to this slide explains is how part of their strategy is to look at their data. Where is the road in the good condition? Is it in fair condition or is it in poor condition? And they allocate the treatments for depending on where it's at. So 3 phases of treatments: preservation, they call early intervention, a maintenance phase, or a rehabilitation phase. Okay. They've also developed a funding strategy because a lot of pavement management systems won't actually identify and trigger treatments like the low early intervention treatments because they think that there's nothing wrong with the road. So you've got to actually force the PMS system to do what you want. And the phase 1, as I said, is for the lower cost rejuvenation, microsurfacing, spray seal treatments, and you can see some dollar figures up there. They're sort of up budget numbers. So the thinking there is you want to keep those roads in good condition for quite a while. So if the road's in good condition, they'll actually program to retreat with a preservation treatment every 5, 6, 7, 10 years, depending on where it's at, to stopping it going down to a phase 2. And phase 2 is what most of the work is done. Asphalt, the high par, mill and fill. They're the treatments that you do so to stop that segment of road going into a rehabilitation requirement. So the whole strategy is keep your good roads in good condition. Your phase 2 roads, stop them from going into a phase 3 position, which means higher dollars to rehabilitate. Pretty simple strategy. But they've actually got their funding model set up to actually achieve that. Okay, some data. What this graph shows is PC on the left and over time. As you recall, the target PCI for them was 6.75. They're now running at about 7. They don't want the PCI to get much more than 7. They think that's a manageable from a dollars perspective. But they have observed in about 2013 a bit of an uptake from about 6.6 to 7 when they adopted the pavement preservation treatment strategy into their PMS. So, and they continue to do more and more pavement preservation, keep their good roads in good condition for longer. Some of the trends, obviously you can see the PCI going where it is, but also cracking and ravelling have been arrested, showing that the environmental type factors are being fixed up now. One of the things we have noticed here in Australia, sorry, we're not in Australia, is the change in bitumen from locally produced to imported. We're noticing that the road network, especially in the areas where low traffic, are starting to show signs of oxidation much earlier than they used to. Probably by year 8, they need some form of treatment before they start to ravel. So it's changes around the world are affecting Australian roads from the point of view of bitumen importation. And these are the roads that are generally in the urban fringes where the subdivisions are growing and growing and the roads aren't lasting to what was expected. We keep on getting asked, I've got a road that's 30 years old with 30-year-old bitumen and it's in great condition. I said, well, unfortunately, you can't get 30-year-old bitumen anymore. That was good quality. We've seen a change, as I said before. It's unfortunate. I'm not sure if you're seeing that as well. This is an interesting chart. What it shows is PCI in the light blue line. In the dark bar chart, it's actually plotting the percentage of the sealed road network that is treated annually. If I ask, or if you ask your clients, if you manage a road network, what percentage of my road network do I treat annually? And if your answer is 3 to 4%, you're very unsustainable. The fact that that says if you've got a 3 to 4% coverage, you're treating your roads once every 25 to 30, once every 3 to 3 years. As you can see, our friends at Campbelltown, their aim is for a network coverage, which is on the left-hand side. It's anywhere from sort of 7% in 2014 up to 4%. So they understand that they need to do around about 6 to 7% of their road network. So it's a key indicator for most people to know what you're actually doing. And you can sort of see the PCI is keeping trend, and also the green charts is the amount of pavement preservation treatments that are in there. So the amount of the lower cost treatments, you're covering a lot more ground for no additional costs.
Could you please go to the conclusion?
I will. 2 more slides. I'm there.
Thank you very much.
Just the last thing, environmental outcomes. You can sort of see there that by adopting by adopting in situ recycling, there's been quite a substantial in environmental and social benefits by changing their from reconstruction to in situ stabilisation. And obviously also from a financial perspective, they've been able to cut back their backlog of roads from 33 million to 12.5 million in a 15-year period. This is you can all read that, but this says a lot from the IPWA is the association that represents the local government engineers. And that's a fairly strong statement. They've had an endorsement that they certainly are keeping ahead of the game in the way that they manage their road network. That's just a pretty way of showing how it all goes together. So in summary, The outstanding results are a direct reflection of the proactive approach taken by Campbelltown City Council's asset management team and adoption of innovative and sustainable road asset management strategy, combined with the adoption of pavement preservation treatment options for the maintenance of roads in good condition to further extend their lifespan. So it's been a really rewarding journey for both them and us, and I'd just like to acknowledge the gentleman who we work with closely, Mahbub. He was presented with the International Slurry Servicing Association's Award for Excellence in Pavement in Asset Management International, and he's gone to present at this presentation all around Australia, and he keeps on winning awards. It's a very simple strategy which other councils are starting to adopt. And not only, but our team at Downer and Paul who manage that in delivering the outcome. So it really shows what a great partnership between a service provider and a local authority can achieve in better outcomes through your road network management. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ross. Any questions from the audience?
I wouldn't expect so. I'd covered it pretty well.
No question?
See, I said this paper was in the wrong session.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next presentation is going to be from Mexico, and actually we're going to have two presenters from Mexico. If I understand well, one from the public sector and one from the private sector. And the lady from the public sector is Mercedes Curry.